G'day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the performance of the TEQ Super Saiyan 2 Gohan in the Cell Max event. So before I say anything, as you guys know, usual disclaimer coming up, the Cell Max event is not the be all and end all event for you to evaluate a unit. The Cell Max event is best taken on with units that essentially have high levels of damage reduction along with guard most times, or also have super high levels of evasion coupled with pretty high raw defense, or sometimes just everything. Everything is pretty good against Cell Max. Generally speaking, he's pretty much, I think, universally accepted as the toughest boss in the game, or at least one of the top 3 alongside Broly and Omega Shenron. Metal Cooler is probably in there as well. I think Metal Cooler probably definitely harder, at least for me, than Omega Shenron. But yeah, overall I think obviously Cell Max is definitely super tough. A lot of people are still struggling with the event to this day. And Gohan himself at 55% is maybe not the best unit to take on this event with. Without going into too much detail, because we will talk about his passive, but the way he's constructed just doesn't really end up being too conducive to being a mega star in this event. It's not that he's bad in any way, shape or form, it's just that this event is beyond his time, basically. But yeah, for the most part, he's pretty cool. I think personally he does a really good job considering how old he is, considering he's not link level, considering he's not rainbowed. All those things do help a lot, And I think, you don't want to ever evaluate a unit on the premise of like them needing to be rainbow. At least for me, I think you don't want to evaluate units assuming you need to rainbow them for them to be good. But Gohan, given his age, I think is still a really, really, really good unit. And yeah, just in general, I think he does tend to be a very solid option for the team. And I think not so much in this event, but in most other events, he's a very, very solid option. So before I talk about his final details and his passive and everything, I think just a mention for his team. His team is actually one of the better teams to take on this event. He's on Movie Heroes, and Movie Heroes is one of the strongest teams in the game. You have some fantastic units like Gamma 1, Gamma 2, the LR Carnival Goku. You have the special summon AGL Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta from the Cooler's Revenge movie. So yeah, in general, I don't want to sound like they're OP. But if Gohan can get an easy A and get like a really good one, or just get that boost on his defense, then all of a sudden Gohan will actually look really, really good for this event, because of the basis that he is, how can I say, so viable in so many ways, because of the fact that his team is so strong, because of how many good movie hero Gokus there are now. I just think, yeah, he in general is a stronger unit for this whole situation, and you'll have a better time. Now with that being said, let's finally talk a little bit about his passive. So he has attacking defense of 58% with an additional key +1 per key sphere obtained, and 7% attacking defense per key sphere obtained. So he can get a decentish number of key spheres or additional attack and defense back. Just depends on how he goes with the key spheres. He also has an additional 58% attack when performing an ultra super attack, and he also has a medium chance of launching an additional super attack, all of which is pretty good stuff. I don't think anyone's going to argue with that. It's pretty solid stuff overall, and yeah, looks really good. He then also has an additional attack of 59% and attacks being critical hits guaranteed when performing an ultra super attack. If 58% HP or less is applicable, and there's a Goku unit or a unit named Goku that's also a movie hero on the team. So that's kind of his big restriction. It's not huge in the sense that what you get for it isn't particularly crucial. He still does decent damage without it. He still does decent everything without it, but yeah, he does definitely benefit from having it, so to say. So yeah, it is of course, you know, to each their own. Just depends on how you want to look into things, but I think Gohan is still a very fun unit to use. I think obviously at 55%, he's definitely not handling the Cell Max event in any way, shape or form, but in general it's still pretty fun just to see how well Gohan does in tanking. And I think overall he's a pretty, you know, high damage dealing unit. His EZA won't probably focus on his damage, I think on the conditions a little bit, and considering how much the conditions have been buffed due to the strength of the movie hero Gokus that have come out, I do think that there are quite a lot of decent options for players to kind of run through to get an idea of the correct team build to maximize his passive. Here you have like 2 new Gokus, or units that can trigger the Goku passive, just released this last worldwide celebration. So there's now plenty of units that can activate that, and I think that's a good space for Gohan to be in. The ability to have access to his convenience factors like his transformation, all of that does tend to help. You know, it does tend to push units in the right direction overall. So I think with Gohan, if I'm being honest, I think a Rainbow Gohan with Link level 10, I think actually does okay. He's never going to tank a super from Cell Max or anything like that. That's never going to happen. Not before an EZA, but his damage at a Rainbow level, considering the amount of Gokus you can have on the movie heroes team, could be good enough to warrant taking him on the off chance, you know, he potentially takes like one single normal attack in the 3rd slot. Like you're going to see him here in this situation. He's going to take like 400k, but bear in mind he is 55%. You know, there's a big difference between the unit that's 55% and not 55%. We don't get double supers either, which is a big deal. Link wise, there is a little bit of defense that I don't have. You know, additional defense in All in the Family, Gaze of Respect, Shattering the Limit. So there is like a decent chunk of defense that he just doesn't have that you could get for him. So overall, I do think he could be an exciting unit for people to use. It just depends on, you know, basically if they've got dupes in him, I think is the main thing. A couple dupes in this guy and he'll sing. He'll start to sing and look really, really good overall. Damage is great. I think, you know, the damage looks good. The damage is good. I don't think there's any need to question the damage. It's just the defense is a little bit too low nowadays, but it's still not too bad. I mean, honestly, that's really not too bad at all, considering how much damage he did and the trade-offs and the rainbow and stuff like that. Definitely could be worth it. But yeah, that is basically going to be it from me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and bye.